The good ride, because pros can ride anything. We can't.
So here we are, gentle readers, with the DC T-Rice, arguably one of, the greatest riders of all time. And if you want to ride exactly like him, you must get these lift tickets and go ride your mountain every day for years and years.
Get a body transplant.
Yeah, get a body transplant, become superhuman, and then maybe possibly get bitten by a radioactive spider, and then go through a cosmic radiation field in outer space, and you may possibly...
Travis, you had to go through a lot to get that good.
Yeah, you had to go through a lot.
Yeah.
But if you don't want to go through all that, and you want to ride just like you would, but in the same boots that he rides, these are the boots he rides. Honestly, I was expecting these things to be really stiff and really aggressive.
Like most of his boots in the past.
Yeah, like most of his boots in the past. And these, I think they rate on their system as like an 8 or a 9. And I'm just going to tell you right now, gentle readers, that this was a solid 7.
Firm.
Yeah.
Firm but fair 7.
Solid 7.
Because usually it felt like a 9 or a 10.
Usually I thought they were solid 10s,
Yeah.
on the firmness factor. And after, I would say that my Adidas boots are stiffer than these things. Like,
and those are 6s.
yeah,
Or
these
yours were 7s and mine are 6s.
these have just, like, I don't know, the articulation right here in the toe when you flex it, and the whole
Try that again, yeah.
this whole toe pad kind of just stays right there, instead of that normal situation where like your whole boot moves, all the time like that. That's normally how a boot moves. Look at that. Like, and it's specific to his T-Rice foot pad, where he puts an articulation right here, so this right here flexes.
Interesting.
And it's great for
And
backcountry.
it doesn't seem to cause pressure points, huh?
No, it does not.
Super hiker, huh?
Super hiker friendly. This had
So
pretty
it's
good.
an actual intentional articulation point?
Yes.
Cool.
It's like a toe pad.
Okay.
That's meant for like balancing on the tip when you're
billy goating.
billy goating, because a lot of times you get that like slip out because your toe doesn't make a nice pad right there when you're going up. You got this cool little leather thing that doesn't, I guess maybe in really long wet days, I've never really had any problem with that before, but
I've heard some readers complain about that kind of stuff.
about this thing.
Well, just about their
Is that a
boots
lace
getting,
protector?
like,
About-
soaked through, so just
Yeah.
a little protection helps.
Lace
Yeah,
protector,
exactly.
Or it's,
Yeah.
Oh.
I've never had it either, but I don't disbelieve them.
We also don't do too much crazy backcountry,
We're kind of out of shape.
Getting a little fat these days, getting a little old. Joints just ain't what
Not
they used to
Jimbo.
be.
Yeah.
Not Jimbo. He
I'm
went
getting
through
better.
He went through
Getting
that. He
better,
went
Peter.
through that cosmic radiation
I
field.
lost 20 pounds.
Yeah.
But I'm still out of shape.
But anyways, it's a dual boa system, which is nice. It's better than a single boa.
Does it overlap, or does it top and bottom separate?
Looks like it
It
both hit the same
does-
piece there, huh?
It does the top and the bottom completely separately.
Yeah.
And
it meets higher here and lower there.
yeah. So this one ends right there, and then that one starts down here.
Oh, that's so cool. I love when there's no wraparound.
Yeah. I gotta say, when
Or overlap. Not wraparound, overlap.
when I first put them on, there was a pretty wicked pressure point right in here. I loosened up my insole, and then by the second run, the pressure point had completely gone away.
Loosened up the liner?
I loosened up the liner.
inner part.
The liner,
Yeah, the inner liner.
I didn't know you
That's
could.
common,
Yeah,
common
okay.
I think, with that pressure point.
Yeah, that's a pretty common pressure point. So I loosened her up a little bit, and the pressure point went away. And I
So
gotta
it was
say,
more folding on the insole than the outer.
no, it wasn't
Tongue.
folding. There was just like a little pinch in there.
Okay.
I don't know. I had like tightened up my inner liner too much.
Okay.
Which you can do.
Pretty common thing
Yes,
when you
it can
tighten up
happen.
your inner liner too much. Don't tighten up your inner liner too much, kids.
That's a metaphor.
And stay in school.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a metaphor.
Don't be
Loosen
like
up.
us.
Loosen up your inner liner.
Loosen up your inner liner.
Yeah.
You gotta,
And I gotta say,
Thank you
initially,
for the Jimbo metaphors.
you gotta say it like you're talking
Yeah.
next to a fountain.
So many times initially I put on a boot, you know, first day, and I'm just like, oh, this is so uncomfortable. It needs a break-in period. I especially feel that with Burtons. I didn't get that for 1 second with these once I had like loosened these. Just like the moment I put my foot in, the inside liner was so unbelievably comfortable. They have great response. They have this big old friggin'
Nice rubber sole.
Yeah, nice rubber sole, and they got this air bubble down here that I don't know if it does anything. I don't know if it does anything at all. What? Yeah, but I don't know if it actually goes through anywhere. I'm imagining it probably goes into the heel, but the dampening felt great. It's not like crazy damp, you know, like Adidas or the old Nikes or anything, but it's got good dampening, great response. This was initially one of the best boots I have ever tested in my entire life. Size 8.5. They had my size.
Peter also has great response.
Yeah. And just every single thing about this boot, I am absolutely in love with this boot. Like, it's
Hey,
an
what's
amazing
that
boot.
weird thing at the top next to your left hand? Right next to the Boa. See that? See the mesh at the top of the boot on the side?
Huh?
That right there. Is that? What is that? Is that just
This?
design trickery? Yeah.
This is just the fabric
Is
on
that
it.
asymmetry to give it a little
Asym.
inner flex?
Yeah.
No.
or-
It's probably
No.
ASIM. It's big this year.
It is big.
Big last year.
Anyways, they got nice articulation all over the boot.
Boot shapes.
Let me see the spine.
TheGoodRide.com.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's got a hardback
Wow.
Okay.
spine right there.
Last test, Jimbo. Take this camera.
Okay.
I have an 8.5. Peter has an 8.5 on. This is an 8.5.
That's what I heard about you
that's
boys.
more like a 9. But let's just talk about 8.5 shell versus 8.5 shell. Why don't you just put your boot up? We'll go. Lay down.
Heroes in it.
We're gonna alligator wrestle.
Turtle power.
See if we can get this right, huh?
You need to go up a little bit.
Wow.
To get your heels.
Is that
There you
about
go.
even?
That's like pretty much
Wow.
even.
It's almost a half size, maybe a full size bigger.
Yeah, Peter's is bigger.
Way bigger.
I knew that already.
No,
though.
your heel is lower.
No,
No, his heel's higher.
my
And
heel's
his
higher.
toe is lower. So, roll the tape.
So yeah. Is that about right?
That is. I see it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, actually my heel looks a little higher than your heel. I mean, this is not scientific, but it's good enough to get an idea that there is a difference in
I
footprint.
just like to get them both
But
laying on
hey,
their elbow.
Your heel looks.
See? See, now I see a
power.
massive gap
Yeah.
in the bottom heel.
Just gonna have to roll the tape, Peter. Take a look at it.
Yeah.
All right.
But still, but hey,
Later on behind the
It's
scenes, they
not
will be
all about
comparing
footprint.
sizes of other things.
it's not all about footprint. It helps if you're in a bigger boot to maybe try Adidas first. But, you know, it's about comfort. So go with comfort before you go with footprint.
Yeah.
And this is a very comfortable, very good, very well designed boot.
Very well designed boot.
See, that just looks softer here than that side. See what I mean? Looks like some kind of asymmetry. Like, see this? See how soft that is? And then see how stiff this is?
All right.
That's all I was wondering. And then inside, how did this fit? Peter has an average foot. What if you go to a foot store, he would be between a C and a D.
No, I've never been to a foot store.
Yeah, and that's a big problem with snowboarders. That's why we constantly
Foot
have
Locker.
problems with finding the right boot. You'll be like, it's too tight. It's too tight. Well, find out your foot width. And
Anyways,
figure
I
it
have
out.
a very average foot width.
he's
Extremely
very
average.
he's exceptionally average. He's
Exceptionally average. I'm
right in the
perfect for the
middle.
good ride.
Yes,
Just average.
exactly.
Yeah.
Mediocrity
Is
at
that who you
its
guys are?
finest.
Yes.
And how did this fit? Did this feel snug on the sides, or did it
So-
feel like there's room for a wider foot?
It's perfectly snug with a tiny bit of room for a wider foot. Not a massive amount of room, I wouldn't say.
So it's nowhere near as wide as like Adidas, Burton, or 32.
I mean, I got room. I got a little bit of room on the side, but it feels perfectly snug to me.